The success of the Springboks over the last several years has created an atmosphere of pride, confidence, and unity throughout South Africa, but according to Rassie Erasmus, there is one fear that continues to stay in the back of his mind despite all the victories, trophies, and celebrations. The Springboks head coach, widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in modern rugby, recently opened up about what he describes as his biggest nightmare. Surprisingly, it is not the fear of losing a single match, nor is it the pressure of facing the world's strongest rugby nations. Instead, his greatest concern is seeing the Springboks return to a period when losing became normal and when South African rugby lost the special connection it enjoys with its supporters today. For many rugby fans, the current Springboks team represents one of the strongest eras in the history of the sport. The squad has won back-to-back Rugby World Cups, consistently competes at the highest level, and continues to set standards that many nations aspire to reach. Yet Erasmus remembers very clearly what things looked like before the turnaround began. When he returned to South Africa in 2018 after his successful spell with Munster in Ireland, he inherited a national team that was struggling both on and off the field. The Springboks were no longer viewed as an unstoppable force. Instead, they were facing criticism, disappointment, and a growing sense of frustration from supporters who had become accustomed to watching their team lose more often than they won. The years following the 2015 Rugby World Cup had been particularly difficult. Under Heineek Meyer, the Springboks had managed a third-place finish at the tournament, but the period that followed under Alistair Coetzee proved challenging. Results failed to meet expectations, confidence declined, and South African rugby found itself in unfamiliar territory. During that difficult stretch, the Springboks played 24 test matches and won only 11 of them. 11 defeats and 2 draws painted a picture of inconsistency and uncertainty. For a rugby nation with such a proud history, those numbers were difficult to accept. When Rassie Erasmus took charge, he understood that rebuilding the team would involve much more than tactical adjustments or changes in selection. It would require restoring belief. It would require convincing players that they could once again become world champions. Most importantly, it would require reconnecting the team with the South African public. Rugby in South Africa has always been more than just a game. It is a source of national pride, a topic of conversation in homes and workplaces, and a symbol of achievement that brings people together regardless of background. Erasmus knew that winning matches was important, but he also knew that rebuilding the emotional connection between the team and its supporters would be equally significant. That connection is precisely what motivates him today. Speaking openly about his fears, Erasmus explained that while he hates losing and always wants the Springboks to win, his deepest concern is the possibility of losing the positive feeling that currently surrounds the team. He described the joy of traveling around South Africa and seeing supporters smile, celebrate, and proudly identify with the Springboks. For him, those moments represent something much bigger than rugby results. They reflect the impact that success can have on an entire nation. According to Erasmus, one of the most rewarding experiences is interacting with ordinary South Africans who feel inspired by the team's achievements. Whether it is a conversation at a petrol station, a friendly high five from a supporter, or simply seeing people wear Springboks jerseys with pride, those moments remind him of how deeply rugby is woven into South African society. The current atmosphere is one of optimism and confidence, and he admits that he is nervous about what might happen if that feeling ever disappears. His comments reveal a coach who is constantly thinking beyond the next match. While many people focus on tactical plans, player performances, and winning streaks, Erasmus spends a considerable amount of time considering how to maintain the culture that has helped drive the Springboks' success. He understands that success in professional sport can be fragile. Winning teams are celebrated, admired, and supported. Losing teams often face criticism, reduced interest, and questions about their future. That reality is something he has experienced before, and it is a lesson he has never forgotten. Springboks captain Kolisi also understands exactly what Erasmus is talking about. Having lived through both the difficult years and the triumphant years, Kolisi recalled how painful it was when the national team struggled for results. He spoke about the disappointment of seeing supporters lose faith and the emotional challenge of representing a team that was no longer inspiring confidence. For players who had dreamed their entire lives of wearing the famous green and gold jersey, It was heartbreaking to witness the negativity that surrounded the team during those years. The transformation since then has been remarkable. Under the leadership of Erasmus and Kolisi, the Springboks have become one of the most respected teams in world rugby. Their success at the Rugby World Cups in 2019 and 2023 elevated them to legendary status, while their consistent performances against top-tier opposition reinforced their reputation as a dominant force. Since successfully defending their world title in 2023, the Springboks have continued to build momentum, winning 25 of their 30 test matches and putting together an impressive winning streak that has further strengthened their position at the top of the game. Yet despite those achievements, Erasmus refuses to become complacent. One of the defining characteristics of his coaching philosophy is the belief that success must be protected every day. He understands that reputations can change quickly in professional sport. A team that is celebrated today can face criticism tomorrow if standards begin to slip. That awareness drives his relentless attention to detail and explains why he remains focused on continuous improvement even during periods of success. The modern Springboks coaching structure reflects that commitment. With experienced assistants such as Tony Brown and Jerry Flannery, the team benefits from specialist expertise across multiple areas of the game. Tactical preparation, player development, and performance analysis are handled by highly qualified professionals. This allows Erasmus to think more broadly about the overall health of the program. Rather than concentrating solely on lineouts, scrums, or attacking patterns, he often considers factors that could influence the team's long-term success, including culture, communication, public perception, and the collective mindset of the squad. As the Springboks prepare for another crucial period that includes a trip to Argentina and the highly anticipated rugby's greatest rivalry series against the All Blacks, expectations remain extremely high. Supporters expect victories, strong performances, and continued excellence. However, the comments from Rassie Erasmus serve as a reminder that maintaining success is often more challenging than achieving it in the first place. His greatest fear is not a single defeat or a difficult season. His greatest fear is seeing the Springboks lose the winning identity that has taken years to rebuild. For now, South African rugby continues to enjoy one of the most successful periods in its history. Stadiums are filled with passionate supporters, players are celebrated as national heroes, and the Springboks remain one of the benchmark teams in international rugby. But while fans enjoy the victories and the positive atmosphere, Erasmus remains focused on ensuring that the foundations of success remain strong. In his mind, every training session, every decision, and every plan contributes to protecting something bigger than a winning record. It protects the pride, belief, and unity that the Springboks currently represent. That responsibility is what drives him every day, and it is why the possibility of becoming a losing team once again remains the nightmare he is determined to avoid at all costs.